Well, as the title indicates, we're going to try to make a European style butter. I follow a channel called the Orthodox Christian Cooking Channel with Father Vlad Zablotsky from Buffalo, New York, I think it is. It's a very interesting channel, and I will put a link down below to the video that he did on making this particular kind of butter. And have a look at his channel. I think you'll really enjoy it. He doesn't put out a lot of videos, but whenever he does, I always make sure I watch it because they're always very good. I never knew the difference, but the difference between European butter and the North American butter here is the European butter is made with sour cream, whereas we use fresh cream, whole cream. Father Vlad said that he thought you could probably use bought sour cream, and quite possibly you could if you can find the real thing. I checked 3 or 4 brands of bought sour cream, and they all said that it was made with light cream, and then they list some other ingredients. Nothing chemical or anything, but milk solids and all this kind of stuff. So I was a little skeptical of it. So I'm going to do it exactly the way that Father Vlad did it, by making your own sour cream first. So stay tuned, and we will begin that process right away. Now, to make your own sour cream, you start with some cultured buttermilk. Shook it up to make sure it's all well mixed, I guess. He said a few tablespoons, so 3-4 tablespoons, quarter of a cup, whatever. Just a little bit of the cultured buttermilk for a culture to make the sour cream. And then heavy cream. What I'm using is 35% milk fats. It's a whipping cream, so that's about as heavy as it gets here, I guess. We're doing a quart. And it's definitely filling that bowl. Let's hope it doesn't grow. I'll put it on a cookie tray or something, I guess, but just mix the buttermilk into it. And now that gets covered and set aside at room temperature for 2 days, 48 hours. At the end of that time, you should have sour cream. I'll come back in 2 days' time, see what we get. Well, it's been about 2.5 days since I added the buttermilk, but at last I have a relatively thick sour cream, I guess. And now the next step is to refrigerate it for 2 or 3 hours to chill it. I think that Father Vlad said that that makes it so that the butter isn't soft, you know, when you're trying to churn it or whatever, trying to whip it. Colder, it will be a firmer butter. So I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for at least a couple of hours here, and then we'll have a go at making some butter. It should be thoroughly chilled now. It's been over 24 hours since I put it in the fridge. Other things got in the way. Yesterday was Halloween, so give you some idea of what I was up to, I guess. It seems to be a nice thick sour cream going in my bowl for the stand mixer here. If I didn't knock you off so that you can't see it anymore. I guess you can still see it. Try to get all of it, most of it. And now we mix it up with the whip in the stand mixer. And what you hear in the background is Angel having a drink. Get the whisk fitted here, I guess. Just starting it off at a slow speed. And what Father Vlad said was that it will first come up into a sour whipped cream. And he said that his wife might do some videos of how they use a sweetened sour cream whipped as a cake toppings and whatever. It sounded very good to me anyway. So this will first come into a whipped cream with the soft peak stage like you normally get. The whole process should take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is record it and then speed the video up so that you don't have to sit here and watch the whole thing happening. That is the whipped cream stage, heavy whipped cream. And shortly it will begin to separate into buttermilk and butter. Actually, I can see it getting yellow there now. But I will speed this up again. I don't know if you can hear me above that or not. I shut the camera off for quite a while because I thought even if I speed this thing up, it's going to take forever to play this video. But as you can see there, it has gone down. It's quite yellow. It's starting to turn to butter. And I think if I look closely down at the bottom of the whisk there, I can see where there's some buttermilk separating out. So I will let this continue to run, and I will do another one of these fast forward things for you. Well, that is butter and buttermilk, finally. I'll try to figure out how long it took when I look at these clips when I'm editing. I'm thinking close to, well, say between 12 and 15 minutes, but we have butter and buttermilk, and now I'll take you over to the next stage. I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see when I'm trying to do it. What I'm doing here is just trying to bring it together into a mass, most of it anyway. And then I have a bowl of ice water to put it in to keep it cold. And to make sure that I get it all, I'm going to put it through a strainer. Save the buttermilk. With some of the buttermilk that I bought to do this with, I made buttermilk waffles, which were very good. And you know how you can buy those frozen toaster waffles in the stores. I had one for breakfast and froze the rest, and that seemed to work quite well. Much better than those frozen boughten things anyway. So I've been thawing one out and having it for breakfast every morning. At this point, you're just trying to get it together, I guess, and keeping it good and cold. I was concerned with all that mixing that the cold cream was going to be warmed up, but I kept touching the outside of the metal mixing bowl, and it stayed icy cold throughout the entire process. A lot of it was a long time happening, but once it started to form into butter, it didn't take any time at all. It just sort of snapped, and it happens. You've got butter. It just has to reach that right stage, I guess. This is removing some of the buttermilk, but next we're going to salt it. You don't have to if you want fresh butter, or it won't be fresh, I guess. It's made with sour cream, but if you want unsalted butter, you can just stop at this stage and you've got unsalted butter. So I will bring you back when it's time to put some salt in it. I drained off the ice water. I'm going to salt it. I've measured out a tablespoon. It's a product that you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use before. It's called flax salt. It's a sea salt, a natural sea salt, and I didn't realize, I just read further on the package, it's from Sweden. It was a gift for me, and I really enjoyed using it. But I won't use the entire tablespoon. I just measured out a tablespoon because I didn't want to get too much salt in there. The salt, of course, a tablespoon of salt is a lot of salt, but some of it is going to come out in the buttermilk and whatever that is going to be processed out of the butter as you knead the salt into it. I'm just using two sort of wooden cooking implements here, paddle type things. Traditionally, or at least around here, when butter used to be handmade, which I'm old, I'm not that old. It wasn't handmade in my lifetime, but my grandparents used to make it when my parents were growing up. And you use something like this wooden so that you're not transferring your heat to the body heat and melting the butter, getting it soft again. And the wooden implements that were used were commonly called Scotch hands. There's just two specialized wooden paddles used for the same purpose that I'm doing here, only I suppose the lump of butter was much bigger. And why they got called Scotch hands, I'm not quite sure. Scotch hands supposed to be cool. I have Scotch in my background here, so I'm not being nasty to the Scotch people here. I'm a descendant from a Calder from the north of Scotland who settled here in the 1760s. Well, I won't make you watch all of this, but I'll bring you back when I have finished. And I want to weigh this to see how much I got after I get the rest of the buttermilk out of it here and finish salting it. So we'll come back and give it a taste test too. I just have to know how much I got. I only used, well, probably less than half of that tablespoon of salt, and it tastes plenty salty to me. 320 grams. 321, 320, it can't seem to make up its mind. 0.320 of a kilogram, of course. That's 11.3 ounces. So, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I guess that's what, close to 3/4 of a pound out of a quart, or a liter, I guess it would have been. Or no, actually it was less than a liter. They were strangely marked. Bought in Canada, but 473 milliliters per container of that cream. I'm thinking that's probably a US pint or whatever switched into metric. But anyway, 11.3 ounces is pretty good. Now we'll do a little taste test on this in just a second. No, I didn't make the baguette. Actually, I didn't make it, obviously I bought it. I bought it today and didn't realize till I got it home that it was reduced price to 50% off, so I'm assuming that means it's yesterday's baguette. You couldn't give a day-old baguette away in France. They don't stand up too well to time. A baguette is meant to be eaten within hours of it being made. Well, this is a good spreading texture anyway. Hasn't been refrigerated and it's starting to warm up a bit here. I think I got just the right amount of salt. And it does have a lovely flavor. Sort of a bit of a tang. Like you don't get with North American butter, I guess. One of the grocery stores that I shop in over in Maine does have some imported European butter from Ireland. Always seems to be from Ireland. I have bought it before and it's very good. This was fun. I don't know, is it something that I will do very many times in the future, but it was interesting and it turned out a nice product. I hope you will go look at the Orthodox Christian cooking channel, Father Vlad's videos. They're very good. Subscribe to him. I'm sure you will enjoy them. I haven't had a chance to watch the latest one yet. I just got notification that it came out today. He's going to be making sauerkraut soon, and he's showing the special crock that he bought to ferment his sauerkraut in. So check out his videos, and I think you'll enjoy them and want to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.